Well, worst fear is confirmed. I'm not sure if that was rod knock. I'm thinking it was, but for sure there was something wrong with the lifters. Heard a lot of clatter up there, and it had a bad exhaust leak, but that's the least of our problems. The heads, I'm pretty sure, are cracked because I replaced the head gasket on it, and I didn't see any damage on the heads, but there's a ton of fluid down in the oil pan. So heads need replaced. I mean, this thing ran really hot when the head gasket went out. I mean, it was like 260, so I was hoping and praying that since that was the only time that it ran hot, that it wouldn't have problems, but I should have known better. So now I gotta buy new heads. I mean, I could get... Summit has some Oldsmobile 403 heads that are really good, but they're also really expensive. I mean, you're talking $2,000, probably around $2,000 anyway. And if I'm gonna spend that amount of money, I would rather have an Olds 455 or something like that in here. And I've spent a lot of money on this 403, so when me and my dad built this engine, I put a lot of money into it. A lot of money into the pistons, the cam, and just a lot of money wasted, I guess, at this point, because I only got to drive the car for a little past the break-in period, and what happened was I was like 19 and didn't know much about cars, and I was driving and my radiator popped, and I didn't notice it. And by the time I noticed my temp gauge, it was about 235 or 240, and I was on the interstate, and my exit was coming up. So I took the exit, and it had got 260 at that point. Pulled over, shut the car off, and the radiator had a huge hole in it. So, and that's what started all these issues. And that was back in 2014 or so 9 years ago. And this car is by and large been sitting since then. It's been cranked up a few times and ran, but over the past 6 years or so, maybe 5, I was heavy alcoholic then, so I wasn't doing anything but drinking alcohol. And since I quit drinking, I've been doing stuff outside again and getting my cars running, and this one was on the list because this was my second ever car. My first one was that Camaro, and that Camaro, the engine in that one is looking great, but the engine in this one, oh man, it's heartbreaking. At the very least, it'd be new head gaskets, and since I had just replaced them, I'm thinking that this is just cracked heads. God forbid a cracked block or something like that, which is probably what it is. I mean, I'm gonna have to pull the engine either way. I don't know if all this stuff will... I don't think these brackets and all this will hook up to an Olds 455. I'm thinking that since this is technically a small block, I know the engine height is different. And yes, I know that Quadrajet looks horrible. Those mud daubers did a number on it. I'm surprised it still ran, that the Quadrajet still worked. I mean, you would think from how it looks, and it wouldn't do anything, but it ran and did what it was supposed to do. And the engine ran, and it ran till it got hot, and it got hot fast. So I'm really worried about those heads. I mean, so I guess that's really now the only thing to do is to take these headers off, distributor, I guess I could just leave in, but I could take all the plugs out. I just bought those. So, but take the quadrajet off and put something over that intake. I've got a lifting. God, I don't even know what they're. Oh, those valve covers are hot too. Yeah, whole engine's hot. It got up to about 220 or so, and I noticed that and shut it off. But doesn't really matter at this point. I mean, God, that's heartbreaking. Now I have to find the. I guess I could just measure the height of this after it cools down, and I'll see what the height is on a 455. But I might go ahead and try that. The trans that I've got is rated for, I want to say, like around 500 torque. So, and the trans fluid looks amazing. So, I should have tried to shift it into gear just to see if it would have went in. I guess I probably shouldn't start this engine again. I was gonna say I could start it back up after it cooled off, but I don't think I should start it again. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. It's pretty heartbreaking at this point. The good news, I had so much good news on my other build, on my 79 Firebird, and this one, on this Trans Am, this is a 79 Trans Am. This one, I've been trying to get going for a while, and it's been nothing but bad news.